Hello guys and girls, welcome to our People Helping People team hangout for National Wealth Centre, and I have Stephen Awesome Lawson here with us, and I thought I would sort of just put him on the spot, ask him a few questions and allow him to elaborate on things that we've got coming up for the team. And I was kind of hoping to have maybe a few of you on as guests to let us know what you think and if you've got any questions. But most of you have bottled it, and so you're probably just watching on YouTube, which is also fine. But in the future, it would be cool to have more of you on. Obviously, as your teams grow and as the business expands, then you may be, or you will be introduced to new training strategies. And you possibly would want some help on them and be able to give feedback on them. So that would be awesome if we could have you on in the future. But Steve, welcome.
Thanks, Rick. I was just going to say, have we put the actual YouTube link inside the PHP group for people to join if they need to?
We have indeed, yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to put, for those people that are watching right now, shame on you for not being on here, but I'm going to put the link in the group now again. And if you can come on and appear on the Hangout, that would be tremendous, because the more the merrier. So I'm just going to post the link into the group again. It's in the PHP group for those that you want to just pop on. But yeah, I mean, we're going to keep this hangout pretty casual. This is our first PHP People Helping People group hangout, and we're going to try and make this a regular hangout if we can, hopefully at least once a week. For the people that are based in the United Kingdom, obviously this is kind of our time zone, so it's at 8 p.m. currently here in the UK, and we may look to try and shift that perhaps a little bit later as time goes on. But of course, you know, if you're wherever you are, you know, around the world, whatever your time zone, if you can manage to come on maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock UK time zone, then that would be awesome. So yeah, Rick, I mean, I'm absolutely excited to be on this hangout. I've had a real blast since I've got involved with this business over the last 3 weeks. It's just been phenomenal, and you know, the team has been growing, and the group has been, you know, expanding all the time as people are inviting other people into the business. So, you know, it's a fantastic opportunity. We've got a great team that's growing, as I say, and you know, I'm just really excited about the future of it. So, I mean, I don't know what you feel, Rick. Obviously, you come on board over the past couple of weeks, and you know, you seem to be doing pretty well. You know, I can see people that have been joining you, and I'd like to know from your perspective as a, you know, very successful and maybe a kind of traditional affiliate marketer as well, what your impressions are of the business so far.
Cool. No, absolutely. Happy to chat away on that. I can babble for England, so you'll just have to cut me off. And by the way, welcome to, I see Justin and Nina have just joined us. So welcome, guys.
Awesome.
Sure we can certainly.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Justin.
Yeah, I mean, just to answer that for Steve, I've been around, I guess. I've done a lot of different things over the last 11 years. And National Wealth Centre is, I would say, it's a bit cliche, but I would say it's a sort of breath of fresh air, really. Not only because of the 100% commissions, but also the instant payments. And I'm a massive advocate of personal development, and the $25 basic level product of personal development is really cool. I mean, even if it's just there to jog your memory to say, well, hang on, personal development is the big issue. There's a reason that it's the lowest level product. That is the first thing that people need to get into their heads, is personal development. They need to improve their mindset before they actually focus on any given business. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not just something you learn once and then forget about. It's a journey. So from that point of view, I'm really happy to be involved in something that focuses on personal development from the get-go. And yeah, it's cool. I think it's got a lot of potential in the future. I think the company will evolve. I think the website and the back office itself will evolve. And I just love the community that you're building, Steve. I think it's really cool, because I think everybody can see a lot of potential in this. So there's a lot of positivity and enthusiasm and energy kicking around, which is cool.
Exactly. And you know what? I wanted to just carry on from what you were saying about the kind of personal development the product itself, because a lot of people don't always talk about the product, especially when it comes to the digital marketplace.
A lot of potential. So there's a lot of positivity and enthusiasm and energy kicking around, which is cool. I can give something a bollocking here. I think that's George. Nice to see you, George. If you could mute, guys, just whilst I'm speaking. I think that's George's feedback.
Because a lot of people don't always talk about the product.
That happens all the time. If you could all mute yourselves, which is the little microphone at the top. Awesome. Cheers, George.
There we
well
go.
played, Justin.
Yeah.
I don't think, to be fair, give credit to George. He has probably not been on a Hangout before, so I'm putting him on the spot. And
well, it's good to see so many people coming on, which is really terrific. Cool. And there's nothing worse than hearing your voice, which I hate listening to my own voice anyway, being repeated back to you. So, but anyway, I'm just going to carry on and just talk a little bit about the personal development side of this business, because it's often been said that this network marketing industry is really a whole personal development business. It's kind of personal development disguised as a business. And it really is absolutely true. And, mindset is absolutely key to being successful in any type of business, whether it's online or offline. And I've had plenty of years of experience running my own offline company. I run a transport company. I had about 30 or 40 staff. And, even doing that, it was really all about my own personal leadership, my mindset, my ability to communicate. And this is so relevant in this online network marketing industry. And I think a lot of people kind of don't get that to start with. They think more or less about the money, and they think about strategies and techniques, but what they don't think about enough is the mindset, the determination, the commitment, the focus. And this is what I really love about the fact that we have a product, our opening product within the NWC that is specifically there to help people with that, right? Because to me, it's the number one thing that we need to understand is we need to be thinking like entrepreneurs. This is actually a business. This is something that we can do to generate income. For obviously, this is why we come online in the first place, because we're all searching for something. We're searching for that extra way to be able to, produce a little bit of extra income, whether it's to pay for a new car, to pay for our mortgage, to maybe get, look for personal freedom, to give up our jobs. And a lot of people, I think, when they first come online, they just focus on the income side of it and think that it's going to be an instant get rich quick type of deal. But the reality is that there's obviously a lot of education, there's a lot of development, personal development, growth that needs to take place. We need to all become leaders. This is a leadership model, and so having that leadership model, having the personal development as our starting point, really to me is the perfect type of business to be involved with, because we all need it. And we can talk about the other products as well, which is wealth development, wealth management, this type of thing, which is all so key in my view to operating any type of business. And it doesn't matter whether it's an online business, offline business, or whether anybody else is involved in any other kind of network marketing business, whether it's a product-based business, whether they're selling pills and potions or tea, coffee, whatever it is. They need to have that initial kind of education and leadership training. And this is why I love NWC, because it's a sort of business that can easily sit next to any other business. And I think that's one of the great virtues of this company.
Cool, absolutely. I'm going to unmute myself and really hope that what just went off, we just had a fire alarm go off in the background while I was muted. So if that happens again,
I didn't hear anything. No,
it's because I was muted. It's lucky you didn't.
Cool.
That was really loud. I'm in a shared house, just in case anybody was wondering. And yeah, that was really loud. I'm hoping that won't happen again. So yes, yeah, I think it's very easy for us to bang on about the product, and I think that the key to take away from this topic and this sort of bit of a hangout is that it's very easy. The reason why people join this initially, there's a 99% chance they're joining this to generate an income. There is, of course, that sort of 1% of person who has heard about products and thinks, yes, these products can help me build my existing business. I'm not really fussed about the income side. I want to use the products, which is brilliant. But those people who are joining for the income and the residual income and that side of the business need to understand that you can't lead with that and not mention the products. Not only is that rather unethical, it's also, I believe, there are sort of compliance issues there, and you could essentially be sort of flagged up for, basically given a slap on the wrist. So you need to make sure that you are talking about the products, because they are real products. They're information products, and they're definitely worth the money. They're worth many, many times more than what we pay for them. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on that. And I guess if somebody's just joining and they're wondering how you talk about it, I wouldn't even say pitch. I don't like the word pitch, because I don't believe this style of business, network marketing, it's about relationships. It's not about selling. And I could say that until I'm blue in the face. I don't know what your take on that is, Stephen.
Yeah, I agree. I can tell you now that I've been around for 3 years, and I built up over those 3 years so many relationships with hundreds of people over that period of time. And I've never done, actually, people may be surprised at this, but I've never really done any kind of paid marketing strategies. I know a lot of people spend a lot of money on advertising, and it's a very, very good way of building a business. But I guess because when I first started, I had no idea about this industry. I didn't even have a Facebook. I really didn't know much about social media. And I'm not a young guy. I mean, when I came online, I was, I think, about 48, 49. I'm now 51. And I really didn't have a clue about social media. So I had to kind of learn everything. And I suppose that I just kind of spent all my time really getting to grips with social media, starting to build relationships. I went through different people's trainings on Facebook and Twitter and all these other different social medias. But over time, I realized that it was a kind of leadership model. I realized that it was a relationship model. And so I just spent all my time really being consistent and getting a message out there and building the relationships, reaching out to people, whether that be through Facebook Messenger, whether it be through connecting with people on Skype, through Google Hangouts, such as this one, doing YouTube videos. I mean, everything that I did was basically built around kind of free communication strategies, free attraction marketing strategies. And I built up lots of solid relationships. And that was one of the reasons why, when I first announced that I was going to be coming on board with NWC and treating it as my primary business, I just had to make a few posts on Facebook, and people were obviously interested to know the reasons why I'd chosen this company. And so and it was because of the relationships that I built up over a period of time that I was able to bring people in, show them the opportunity, explain to them why I felt it was a great platform from which to not only create an income stream, but also to learn all of the communication skills with the personal development, etc. So, yeah, I mean, it really is. It's really about the relationship building, and we can talk further about other strategies, in terms of things like paid marketing and specific strategies that people can use on Facebook, etc. But at the end of the day, when you bring somebody into a company, when they actually sign up under your link, they join you in your business, they want to work with you, that's when the real work begins, because it's then about developing those relationships and I think really helping the people that have come into your business, help them gain those skills in leadership, in communication, getting them to become more confident and expressing themselves and just really being themselves. Because I think a lot of people live in fear of trying to live up to the next person. They look at somebody, they followed them on Facebook, they think, oh, this guy's successful. I'm never going to be that successful. I'm never going to know as much as that person knows. But the truth is, we can all do this. It's really not that difficult. It's really just a question of being ourselves. And you'll find that there will be people that will relate to you just because of who you are, just because of the way you come across. Now, not everybody's going to relate to everybody else, and we all find our own kind of, I suppose we all kind of find our own peers that maybe it's the demographic, maybe it's the age group, maybe it's where we come from in the world. There's lots of reasons why people follow people, but ultimately it is all about connecting and staying connected and teaching those leadership skills, and really kind of saying to people, look, if you can just relax and be yourself and just talk as you would with any normal person, just as friends talk. And that makes life easier when you want to make things like videos, when you want to do Google Hangouts. I think it's absolutely 100% down to the relationships that we build, but it's also down to actually taking the action, making the effort consistently day after day after day with this kind of attraction marketing model that's going to, it's going to take you on to that next level. And I mean, there is no real shortcut as such. I mean, there are some people that can come online immediately, build teams, and they just immediately have an affinity with people because of their personalities, etc. But they're one-offs really. And I think for the average person, you've got to just kind of relax, be yourself, go out there, learn some stuff, go out there and talk about it, go out there and show other people, offer value. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I personally thrive off that business model, that marketing model. I love creating. I'm sure many people have seen my random babbly videos that I put up. That is just attraction marketing. I just talk about stuff that I think is valuable, and I've grown a following of people who, I guess, like my videos, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who think I'm a complete prat and don't like my videos. But that's the purpose. I'm weeding out the people who don't like me, and they can go elsewhere and find value elsewhere. And I'm sort of attracting people who think the same as me and can get value from my videos. And that's where I create the following. And some of those people take an interest in what I'm doing and jump on board with certain things that I share. So, just on the video front, I think this would be a brilliant platform, just these Hangouts, to build up everyone as a leader and as somebody to get to know on a Hangout in front of a camera. So those people who want to do that, these Hangouts can serve a purpose there as well. So we can all get to know you, and your team can get to know you.
I was going to just, sorry, Rick, I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
We've got Justin on here right now, and Justin joined NWC a couple of weeks ago, and Justin has only just come online. He's not an experienced marketer. He's just kind of got into the whole online network marketing industry, and this guy has just come out of nowhere like a bull out of a gate, and he's been making videos, and he's just being himself, so natural. And and I just want to say, I was blown away by some of the content that Justin's been coming out with. And I want to hear from Justin. Actually, I know you're muted, buddy, but I'd like to kind of get you on and just talk a little bit about your experiences so far since you got involved, because I've been blown away by the action that you've taken. You're clearly a leader. I know that you've come out of the military, so I guess you've kind of had that instilled in you, that leadership quality. But if you want to come on, just give us a little bit about your background and your journey so far. If you could unmute yourself, Justin.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, bud.
Well,
welcome.
Yeah, I came from a military background, and I was one of those kids my whole life that I just kind of quit everything, and I realized in the military you can't quit the military. So I learned the way that in the military, if you don't give it all you got and you don't work as a team, then there's chances are you're going to die or one of your friends are going to die. So that's just kind of the mindset that I've had. And then coming at, if I'm going to do something, then I'm going to give it 110%, and failure is not an option at all. So that's just kind of the mindset I had know, hit me up and I was like, oh man, you should do some network marketing. And I was like, I'm not a salesman, manual labor my whole life. So I don't know anything about, and I got you. He helped me out a little bit. And I read GoPro by Eric Worre, and I just been reading. It's cool, man. My biggest driving force is being able, because I've been there, I've been, financially hurting and whatnot. And it's really cool to watch someone, sign up for this program and just see the light in their eyes kind of go off like, man, in life, I don't have to worry about, month to month, and I don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. So, and to me, that's really cool. I'm all about, helping other people out. This is the perfect platform. I put together a slideshow last night. I spent like 3 or 4 hours on it, just kind of breaking everything down to make it as simplistic as possible for people that really don't understand NWC, because there's a lot of times when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I don't understand your product. I don't understand what you have. So I broke everything down on, how to explain it. So I'm just kind of giving it all I got, really, just kind of see where it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself so I can hear some feedback from y'all.
Cool. Well, there you go, Steve. You're unmuted.
There we go. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been really impressed with Justin, and because he's taken on board what I've been obviously having some conversations with Justin over the past couple of weeks, and I know Justin is actually he's actually in Brian Long. For those of you that know Brian Long's team, and Justin, because of the way that the compensation plan works with NWC, Justin was what you'd call a pass-up. And so, I've benefited through Justin being in my team. And so, obviously, I treat everybody the same. I try and help as many people as I can. And I knew Justin was new to the business. So, I've had a lot of conversations with Justin, and we've, kind of spoken about stuff, and I've helped him out with websites and things like that. But, I have been impressed because, he's taken on board this kind of the mentality that I believe you need in this industry, and that is that you go out there and you take action. You don't sit back and wait for somebody else to take care of business for you. You have to be out there. He mentioned that he was been reading Eric Worre. Eric Worre is a fantastic advocate for the industry, a brilliant speaker, and he's written some awesome material. And I follow Eric, and just is immediately getting involved in educating himself, priming himself, to take the action and to be able to give value, which is what this industry is all about. So, I've got to say, super impressed with what he's done so far, and I know he's going to go on and just keep pushing and helping his team grow. And it's exciting to watch, because for me personally, I'm still relatively new at this industry myself. I know you mentioned you were involved for over 11 or 12 years, Rick, and for me, I still feel like I'm a relative newcomer to the industry, being in about 3 years, and really only the last 12 months I've really got involved heavily into the business. But I've been involved with businesses in the past. I kind of have that experience of running a company, and so I've got a bit of knowledge, I like to think, but I guess I've got a few. I've got a little bit of leadership qualities because I've run my own business, but I'm still learning all the time, and I get inspired when I see people like Justin come in immediately and take massive action, and it's terrific. I think we've probably got a few communication problems with Justin. I noticed he's dropped off, but that's just sometimes happens with Google Hangouts. But I want to hear from George. I don't think I've ever met George actually, so. I don't know whether George is on your team, Rick, but I'd love to hear. We're going to put him.
Yeah, we're going to put him on the spot now. Hey, George. Firstly, George hasn't actually joined. He's wanting to find out more about it, and he probably thought that the link he was clicking on he probably wasn't going to be on camera. So we really are putting him on the spot here. And to be fair, I've sent you information, George, haven't I? Have you managed to look through it all? What was your first initial view of the NWC?
Literally, this is straight in for me. I've just come in basically on your recommendation because I trust your judgment, and I'm literally at the point where I'm just finding out about the product. I did have a brief look at the link and a few of the products, but and everything seems good. But at the moment, I'm still sort of in the dark. I wouldn't say I was informed that well, so hoping to find out as much as I can and possibly get started as soon as possible.
Cool. Okay, buddy. Well, we won't push you for more information because I understand where you are, and you are literally just, it's kind of your first view of the whole thing.
No, absolutely.
So that's totally cool. But I really appreciate you coming on, and I suppose I could try and give you, if there's anyone. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone currently watching who's in exactly the situation you're in, who, as in they haven't actually joined yet. And I know there's a few people in the group. Steve's said that the group is there for people to put people in who are interested, which is cool. I mean, I noticed there's not too many questions flying around, so I know that when people are put in the group and they haven't joined, they may be a bit wary or a bit nervous to sort of put their hand up and say, oh, what's this about? How does this work? And that's kind of where these Hangouts come in, because I think people need to see their sponsor, their leadership or whatever. So they need to recognize the faces. And I think those people need to take a responsibility of saying, look, guys, this is the business. This is what it's all about. The key with most of it that I've learned over the years is you shouldn't, when you're bringing people into a new business on the sort of network marketing model, when you're sponsoring people, recruiting people, however you want to call it, you shouldn't overcomplicate it. I mean, it's a very simple business anyway, this particular one, but you should use the marketing material that you're given, and you shouldn't try and explain too much of it. It's better to show them the video and show them the information first, and then follow up with them and go back to them and say, okay, well, what the classic line is, what did you like about it? Because that gets people focused on the positive side, because there are loads of positive things about NWC. And it gives them a chance to basically give some feedback to you, and you can assess whether it is in fact the right business for them, because I think that's another really important ethical thing. Don't assume that everyone you speak to, it's going to be perfect for them and they need to join, and you need to put pressure on them to join and bury your head in the sand and say, no, I'm not going to have any objection. You should join. Everybody, this is right for everybody. Because it's not. It's an amazing business, but I don't think, you can't assume every single person who you show it to is going to say yes. And I think there's definitely an ethics side when you're talking to people, show them the information, and then you just open up the room to sort of questions and say, well, look, is that something that you'd like? You don't really want yes or no answers. I don't want to go into training and psychology and stuff, but Steve, what's your take on that? The initial, I don't like using the word pitch, but the initial response from a potential person who's looking at the business.
Well, it's interesting. Everybody's got their own kind of views, right? Everybody's got their own opinions on network marketing and business, and and as I said, I come from a business background. I've always been self-employed pretty much all my working life, and I think I'm unemployable actually. That's the problem. I just don't like taking orders, and I got my own opinions on things. I got very strong views on business and making money online, and views that I formed over the past couple of years, especially having seen so many, and spoken to so many different people, successful people who've had success, people who've kind of quit, people who've given up. So I've got, maybe my views are slightly different to yours, Rick. I mean, we can't all think and say the same things. I look at this industry. I look at the reasons why do people come into this industry? What is their motivation? What is their motivation for coming online in the first place? I mean, I don't believe people are necessarily all cut out to be entrepreneurs. I think sometimes, we may be from a very early age shown a taste of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and then you kind of get, fed it through your parents and people that you know, and uncles and aunties and people that are in business, and it kind of, it gets under your skin and into your psyche. And I was one of those people that was brought up by a family of entrepreneurs, so that's kind of, it's ingrained in me. But not everybody is brought, into this industry as an entrepreneur. And some people come into it purely and simply because they're just sick and tired of their jobs. They're fed up. They feel that their life isn't going anywhere. They look around. I mean, we're bombarded day in, day out on television by advertising, by all these people that are successful, making money, driving fancy cars, living amazing lifestyles. And we get all of this, thrown at us through social media as well. We get all of the, the hype, all of the, I'm making 30,000 a month, I'm driving a Ferrari, this, that, we see it all the time. And so this is, people come into this industry with expectations of making money, it seems to me. They come in with expectations of, how can I make money? How can I change my circumstances? How can I change my life? I want to have more time freedom. I'm sick of my job. And so I treat people as if, they're coming online for a specific reason. That is because they want to earn extra money. And it's my job to try and facilitate that, right? Because, I came online myself because I wanted freedom. I was involved in a business. I was sick and tired of it. It felt like a prison. I mean, owning your own company is not all roses. Sometimes, it's easier to work for somebody else, but I was trapped. I felt imprisoned in my own company. I didn't have the ability to leave that business at any point. And so I started to look at online businesses because I felt that they're the type of things that I could do anywhere. I could move around. I could just take my computer with me and take my business with me, in effect. So, I go into this with the mindset that people come in looking at ways to make money, and it's my job to facilitate that. So, the products are obviously, very, very important, and like you said earlier, it's a matter of your kind of ethics and not just talking about, you can make a lot of money with this business. So when I talk to people or people approach me, first of all, what I want to know is I want to know what their expectations are. What are their reasons for coming online in the first place? What is it they're really searching for? And because, like you say, not every business is going to be right for that person. But the reason I chose this particular business is because I felt that the products that the company was selling were actually really needed, because this is a growth leadership business. It doesn't matter whether you're selling tea or coffee or whether you're selling milkshakes or cookies, or it doesn't really matter. The reality is you still need those same core qualities, the leadership, the communication, because that's what it's all about. Is people helping people, not pitching, but sharing information. So I will try to drill down and find out the reasons why people are online in the first place, and then I'm gonna basically say, well, look, you've come online because you want to change your circumstance, you want to change your life, whatever it is. You want a new car, you want to pay your mortgage, or you want to just make a better life for your kids and your family. So you want to earn money. Now, what's going to be the best vehicle for you to do that? What is the vehicle that you want to choose? What are you passionate about? First of all, is there a business that you felt that you could actually feel an affinity to? Maybe maybe you're a big coffee drinker like me. I'm a big coffee drinker, right? I drink 10, 12 cups a day. It's way too much. But I could have got involved with a company that sells coffee because I have an affinity with that product. But for me, I love the idea of a global business and a digital business, something that is very simple for people. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I like to keep things very, very simple. And I just feel that the digital products, information products, are very, very simple and easy, and it's a global business. Because I look at this, this industry as just an amazing opportunity for people, because when I had my own company, I was restricted to a very specific area that I could operate in. I had a franchise, and I was restricted in my contract that I could only, operate within a certain territory. So I was limited in terms of growth. Whereas, when you come online, you have got no limitations, no barriers whatsoever. The only barriers you have are language, basically, and people's ability to receive, an internet connection. So, I look at digital type businesses as being the most simplistic, easy to manage, easy to operate, global opportunity. And so, I'm going to be talking about those things to people that I reach out to, and people that reach out to me. And so, it's quite simple in my own mind. I know that people are here to generate an income. I have a vehicle that I can facilitate to other people, and and I have products that I know that they're going to need. So it almost makes it very, very easy for me to promote this business. And it's just something that I kind of feel passionate about, because I've seen in terms of my own personal growth and development over the past 3 years, and I've seen an amazing change in my personality, in terms of my leadership, in terms of my communication skills. When I look back, 2 or 3 years ago, at some of the videos I first made, I stumbled and bumbled through those videos and felt a complete idiot. But I utilized all the training that I had, in terms of personal development. I mixed and associated with leaders and lifted myself up, elevated myself, and now I'd like to think that I'm a much better communicator than I was 2 or 3 years ago, and that's helped me in my business. So, yeah, I mean, I've probably forgotten the question you asked me originally, but I think it's really a question of, when I'm interacting with people for the first time, I'm really trying to ascertain what it is that they're really looking for.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, you've touched on this point again. It kind of goes around in a circle. It's about relationships. You're building a relationship with that person. You're getting to know if what you've got is suitable for them. The first thing I do if I do pick on somebody, normally I sort of put the stuff out there and let them come to me. But if I am going through my Facebook friends, and rather than doing what a lot of people do, is chuck a random message. You've never chatted them before, and people think that they should chuck a message, really long-winded message with a link at the bottom. That's the most revolting way to approach someone, in my opinion. But anyway, very unprofessional. So what I do is I look at their profile. I see what their last post was, have a look where they are, make sure I'm not speaking out my arse if I'm just saying, oh, where are you? You want to know where they're based, if it shows on their profile, what they do, what kind of stuff they're into, and then you can kind of go and have a very, very soft approach. And if they're not experienced with and not used to online marketers approaching them anyway, they're not going to assume you're just going to try and pitch them on a business, and that's certainly not the way you want to come across. So it's just about building relationships and opening up a line of communication and get the free flow of information going, and you might find that they're very interested in what you do as well, which is where it all happens.
I agree. I had a classic example today, actually. So somebody messaged me. I've never heard of this person before. They just messaged me with this great long message with a link at the bottom, basically saying, hey, Steve, I see you're an online marketer. I really think I could help you, build your business. And I've got this great company, and and just this whole long spiel with a link at the bottom. And, and I thought, they haven't taken any time whatsoever to look at my link, to look at my Facebook profile. And you have to ask yourself, what is going through their mind? Do they think that just, throwing out a link, copy and pasting this long-winded message is going to really, have an impact? And the only impact it did have was to really annoy me and to want to, basically tell the guy to bugger off, basically, to put it bluntly. And this is something that people coming into the industry kind of have to realize, is that, it isn't about just, throwing out a link, spamming your message, copy and paste, 50 people a day. That's not the way to do it. And I know that a lot of people would teach you how to do, not how to do it, but to do that specific type of generic post. And in my experience over the last 3 years, it's, and I have to be honest, I was kind of shown that way when I first came online. And I very quickly realized that it just does not work. And, I guess it's a learning curve. It's a process you have to go through. The reality is what happens is, the light bulb will go off and you will understand that this really is a very, very simple business in a way. You're just going to look for people that are interested in online businesses, okay, interested in make money from home type of thing. You can do a very quick search on Facebook and you can actually find any number of people that are obviously involved in a network marketing business or have got an interest in that. And then what I personally do is I look for a demographic, people that are similar to me, people that are similar age, maybe a similar background, maybe they've got similar interests. And, I will just reach out to them. I'll just say, hi, my name's Steve, it's good to meet you. I've just been having a look on your profile on your wall and I realized that, we've got a lot in common and I know that you're into network marketing. Maybe we can just, get together at some stage. Maybe we can just share a conversation about the industry. And I'm very, very casual about it. And I always ask, I say, look, do you mind if I send you a friend request? Would it be okay if I sent you a friend request? I'm basically giving them an opportunity to say yes or no. And most people are going to be pretty polite and say yes. So it's very rare anyone's ever going to turn you down. So I'm not the sort of person that's going to go out and just spam my link, message people without any thought behind it and without doing any kind of research. And I do think that obviously in order to build up a following quickly, you do have to reach out to a lot of people. But you can spend, an hour a day reaching out to 20 or 30 people, quite easily and write them all out, type them all out by hand. I mean, you could copy and paste that type of conversation, but the reality is you kind of want to mix things up. I don't want to be just this copy and paste guy. I want to come across as real, and that's what I do, and I do have a lot of success from it, and so that's what I would tell anybody who's starting out, looking to build a following, build a friends list, is to go find those people in your own specific demographic, people in your own age group, people maybe in your own locality, certainly in your own country, people that have got an interest. Maybe you've got an interest in, let's say, for example, we were talking about Eric Worre. Maybe there are people out there who are interested in Eric Worre. So you could do a quick search, in Facebook on the search bar, people in, for example, where I live in West Wales, I could say people who live in Cardiff who like Eric Worre. And that's going to bring up a whole list of people. And I can scroll down through and look at their images and look for people who I feel are in a similar age group. And then I can go reach out to those people. And I can do that very, very quickly. And I can spend an hour a day doing that every day. And very, very quickly, you can build up a lot of connections. And of course, once you do that, those people are going to see the type of things that you post on your Facebook wall, and that's how you can start to build the engagement and the friendships, and you can reach out to them, and you can do Skype calls and invite them to Google Hangouts like this, etc. So there are ways to do it relatively quickly.
I might just jump in actually. I don't know if you paused intentionally for me to jump in, or you've just come to the end of what you're saying, Steve. But there's a perfect point. I'm going to chuck in a tip for everyone that I'm trying to put in a few videos I've made recently, a few chats I've had with people in sort of private messages and stuff. And I think it's a good point to chuck in on this Hangout. Not that many people are aware of how Facebook's edge ranking works. And I spoke to somebody recently, and they didn't even know what edge ranking was, which is perfectly understandable because they weren't a Facebook marketer, and they just said, "What are you banging on about?" So, for those of you who are not aware of how edge ranking works, I will summarize it briefly. You will notice that you have hundreds, possibly even thousands of Facebook friends, or maybe you've just got sort of 10s and 20s, I don't know, however many Facebook friends you have, you will only be seeing statuses and posts from a small percentage of them. And that is because Facebook rewards you for interaction. So there will be some people who you never hear from, or at least you may have heard from the first few times, first few days or first few weeks that you friended them, but now you've never seen anything from them. And yet you go over to their profile and they're posting on a regular basis, and you're thinking, well, why aren't I seeing their stuff? And that's because you haven't interacted with them. And you will notice that if you visit specific people, if you can think of people, or if you just go through your friends list and say, oh, I haven't heard from them in a while, and you visit their wall, if you interact with them, and you can test this, pick somebody, interact on their wall, click click like on a few of their posts. Don't just pick anything random. Click something you actually like, possibly. Comment, genuine comments on some of their posts, and maybe share something if you think it's suitable. You will notice, because you've just interacted with that person, over the following few days, you will start seeing their posts in your timeline. And that is because you have interacted with them. And in return, they will also see your posts in their timeline. So basically, if you're a marketer, it's a pretty key strategy there, and that is you should interact with as many people as you can, not just anyone. Obviously, somebody, genuine friends you've not heard from in a while, or somebody who you think might be quite, might like what you're offering in your business. If you interact on their wall, that will make sure that Facebook does its thing, and the edge ranking comes into play. So you'll often see, I'm kind of giving away a really secret strategy here, but if you see these posts that people are trying to get loads of likes and comments, like I've done a few times recently, that is basically marketers improving their edge ranking, because they want, the whole purpose of a marketer is you want to appear in people's news feeds. I've kind of let the cat out of the bag now, but yeah, that's what people are doing. And if you genuinely like that particular marketer and that you feel they offer value, then obviously there's no harm in commenting and liking some of their posts. But yeah, I thought I would explain that, because I know some people have no idea how that works, and they see these posts by people say, click like if you think this is a cute cat or something. I mean, that's a ridiculous one to do, but the chances are the person who posted that is trying to improve their edge ranking, because they're basically giving you a call to action, telling you to click like. So yeah, there you go. There's a sneaky strategy for you. Hopefully that enlightens a few people. So that's kind of taken us a little bit off topic, Steve, but I thought I'd throw that in there. I think we're coming up to 10 minutes to the hour, and obviously we don't want to babble on too much. Have you got anything? What would be your? It's probably a good point to finish on. What would be your advice for somebody who is either just about to join NWC or has just joined? What would be their first thing they should be doing straight away within our team specifically?
Okay, well, I think one of the biggest issues that I've found when people join a business, and it doesn't matter what business it is, I think they're almost under the impression that they're going to make money within the first hour of joining the business. And what they don't tend to do is they don't actually spend any time really understanding the platform, understanding the way that the website is actually laid out, and in terms of navigation, understanding all the different processes that they need to get involved with. And I think anybody that starts off with NWC in particular, they need to understand what they're actually dealing with. They need to understand and navigate their platform, understand what the company is all about. Do a little bit of research on the owner, for example. I mean, with NWC, it's Mr. Peter Wolfing. I spent a bit of time actually getting to understand what the company was looking to achieve with their business, and I wanted to find out about Peter Wolfing, the CEO. And so I spent a lot of time doing some research, watching a lot of his videos, and getting to know about him. Understanding the platform, how I would navigate the platform, finding out about the products, really just getting, spending a few days really getting to grips with what this business is all about. And I think that's the first thing that people need to do. Because I have to say, I've seen a lot of people come in and get involved very, very quickly and then not really have any idea about, they don't have any idea about what it is they're promoting, what the company is all about. They don't know who the CEO is. They're not doing any due diligence. And I think that's something that they need to do, specifically, because there are a few things about the company actually which people need to be aware of. And one of them is the fact that, we get paid directly person to person. We have a situation where we have the ability to pay for our products person to person through PayPal or through Payza. And one of the things that we have to do is actually set ourselves up to receive the payments. And there is a very specific way that has to take place. And so, you've got to learn all these things. There's going to be an element, a couple of days, where you've got to set things up. You've got to put your business all together. It's all got to be put into place. Like I do see a lot of people get kind of frustrated and go, oh, I've got to do this or I've got to do that. And it always makes me laugh, because when people get frustrated because they've got to do a little bit of setup, I look back to when I first started or bought my franchise, and it took me literally weeks and weeks and weeks of due diligence, of going backwards and forwards from solicitors, bank managers, franchisors, contracts. I borrowed in excess of $500,000 to buy my business, and the amount of frustration I had with that, because the process took literally weeks, if not months, to sort out. And then when people say to me, oh, well, I've had to create a web page, to put my payment links on. What a fuss that is, and I'm like, really? Really? It's taken you, a couple of hours to put together a little web page? So people have got to be realistic, right? People have got to be realistic, but they're coming into a business. This is a business, and it's there are people involved with NWC that are making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month in this business. I mean, serious money. You go find me a job, right? Okay, in the wide world where you can go out and earn $40,000, $50,000 a month residually. And really not have to spend an awful lot of time involved. I mean, those sort of jobs, they're very few and far between, and you've got to be a very, very special individual to have a job like that. So, this is a business that is got unlimited potential. It's got, you've got the opportunity to make a really, really good income stream from this. And I've been involved with this business for about a month now, so about 4 weeks. And, I'm already generating in excess of $2,500 a month of residual, monthly recurring income. And it's only going to continue to grow. The more that I promote my business, the more that I work in my business, the more that is going to grow. And that's in 4 weeks, guys. It's like the opportunity is there. And so you have to treat this seriously. You have to treat it as a business. This is not a kind of, don't be fooled just because it's $25 to get started. It's a kind of, it's not a lot of money, guys. It's a throwaway. It's a couple of pizzas and a round of drinks, that's all it is to get started in this business. And, if you think about this as a throwaway opportunity, then you're really missing out on something, huge, because this opportunity is a very rare one. When you look at actually what we have the ability to receive 100% commissions. We have the ability to get paid upfront directly into our personal PayPal or Payza accounts. It is a low starting entry point. It's got some great products. So there's a lot going on that, in terms of benefits. And so people have to, when they first get started, they have to really understand, go do your due diligence on the company, learn about the navigation of the platform, learn a little bit about the people behind the business, and treat it seriously. Take it seriously. Don't think of it as being some kind of throwaway business opportunity, because I've demonstrated in just a matter of a few weeks been able to generate a really decent income, which is only going to grow. And there's absolutely no reason why literally anybody cannot do the same. And it's just a question of, a bit of effort and, consistency and dedication, and being part of a team, working with a team like the one we have, the People Helping People team, because this is what it's all about. It's about us helping our team. And you probably know, and I've made this public, but I no longer am recruiting, and I say the word recruiting, I'm no longer enrolling people directly into my specific link. Everybody that I enroll into the business is actually being fed back into the team. And a lot of people kind of criticized me for that and said, well, it's really not the best way to build a business, because you're kind of telling people that you're going to do the work for them, and people are going to expect it from you, and people are going to be lazy. Well, I don't view it in that way. The way I look at it, and I can look at it very specifically because of the type of business we're involved with and the nature of the compensation plan, that we actually only need to really bring in 4 or 5 people into our front line of our business, because the whole compensation plan is based on pass-ups, okay, which are infinite deep. And so I'm looking at really just building a very small network on my front line and building down and actually helping my team. This is what it's all about, people helping people. I'm going to give away every person that comes into my business to my team, because I know that they can grow their business as well, and that's going to benefit me in the long run, and it's going to build a solid foundation. So that's my mindset, is I'm helping other people get started, because I know that obviously one of the biggest issues that we have in the industry is the whole kind of duplication and then retention, and they're both intrinsically linked, because you have the retention is difficult, the attrition rate is high because duplication is difficult. So if you can make duplication easier, then the attrition rate will be less, the retention will be higher, the business will grow. And I understand that when new people come into this industry and and they don't know what they're doing, they don't necessarily know how to get off, at a fast pace. They may not bring people in for a few months before they actually make any money. And so that can be a bit off-putting for them. They might get a little bit worried about the fact that they're spending money and not getting anything back in. So I'm going to work hard to kind of help these people get their first person on board, because they only need one person to actually cover your entire subscription costs. And there's that's great in itself, because we get 100% commission. So I know if I can feed my team, help them grow, take off some of the burden, then that's going to only enhance my business and build a very, very solid foundation. So that's why I kind of love this team. And that's why I created this group, this whole People Helping People things, because I understand that with a relatively high attrition rate, 97%, something needs to change. Something needs to change to kind of stop that, and help the people that are coming on board who are completely new, have no idea about online marketing, because you can't expect people to come in within a month and know and be able to bring people in. It's too much to ask, in my view, and it's what creates this problem. So my personal ambition and goal is to make sure I'm helping my team. I'm giving them the ability to get started off quickly, and that's why I keep passing people down through the ranks. And if everybody kind of did the same thing, if everybody adopted that mentality with this compensation plan, then you would literally see phenomenal growth, and people would be making money every month. And once you're making money and you've got results, it kind of attracts people into you. People follow success. People follow people that are there to give value and to offer help. So that's how I operate. But I'm a bit conscious of the time now. Obviously, we've been going over an hour, so
that's a very good place to leave it.
I'll leave it for you to wrap it up then, Rick.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a very good place to leave it. Our team ethos is that basically, if everyone was to take on board that message that we want to build our teams, and then we help them do the same, and that's where duplication happens. So that's kind of the whole idea behind people helping people. So yeah, Steve, thank you very much for coming on and sort of speaking to the crew that you've got, the team that you've built, and your downline, my downline, everyone else's downline within this group. And George, thank you very much for joining us, kind of not really knowing that you were going to be on camera and being put on the spot. So fair play, buddy. Thank you for that.
Oh, no worries.
And yeah, just to finish off, guys, this is being recorded. It will be posted in the group probably once it's gone on to our dedicated PHP YouTube channel, which will be created either this evening or tomorrow. So this Hangout will be posted in the group for those people who haven't been able to get on this evening. And this will be a continuous thing. So we will have more Hangouts. They won't probably be quite as babbly. We may be more specific next time about what we're going to be sharing. And we do need feedback from you guys. So obviously, if there's something that you want us to cover, if you feel that there's something that needs to be spoken about or explained, then we do need feedback from the group. So once this recording is posted in the group, if you guys want to give feedback on it in the comments section underneath, that's really going to help us. And in return, we can then help you by explaining more stuff in the next Hangout. So guys, on that note, we will say goodbye and thank you very much.
Rick?
Yes.
Sorry, Rick, can I just say one final point? I know I like to talk, but I just wanted to say, because it reminded me whilst you're talking there that, the thing about doing these Google Hangouts is that we want people coming onto these Hangouts because it gives you guys exposure, okay? This is what it's all about. These Google Hangouts are great for team building and everything else, but they're also great for marketing purposes, all right? So, we want people coming on board, sharing their story, talking about their business, and, because it gives you guys exposure, then that's what it's all about. This is a kind of exposure type of business. It's advertising and marketing. So that's all I wanted to say. Just, the more people we can get onto the Hangouts, the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely. No, very, very valid points. Thank you for that. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. And we look forward to sort of serving you better in the future with further Hangouts. And we will say goodbye.
Awesome. Goodbye. Bye for now.
See you guys.
You would not believe your eyes if 10 million fire